Clydesdale Media Weight Loss Journey, where Scott does his weekly check-in with nutrition coach Cheryl Nasso every week live on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notifier so you first know when new episodes come out. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. What is going on, everybody? I just realized that opening, I sound like Brian Friend doing commentary with a little golf voice.
That's so funny. Yeah. How you feeling?
I feel better. I'm moving around better. I feel less puffy. But there's this little bit of stuff hanging on. But it is so cold up here. So cold.
It's disgusting here today. It's been like weird weather. It's like it actually feels like summer. Like the humidity today, like everything is sticky and damp. I don't know. We're just having a really weird day. It's just bizarre because normally this time of year the weather's pretty good, but it's a little off. This weekend it stayed pretty nice up until Sunday. Sunday got a little messy. That was miserable trying to warm up I felt so bad for the athletes because I'm out there. I felt bad for myself. I'm out there warming up my athlete and it's freaking pouring out. So it definitely was not ideal. Anyways, this is not about Wadapalooza. This is recapping Scott. So
I do want to know a little bit because you were there and it rained so much on the weekend and I don't know how it worked for teens and age group stuff. Did your workouts get changed as much as the elite athletes?
none of the workouts got changed because the weather was only bad on Thursday and Sunday. Friday and Saturday were beautiful days. But Thursday it was rainy and Sunday was miserable. It was miserable. That last workout, thank God, the last workout for her was the one. It was like the bead rope and it was like dumbbells. But like she was literally warming up in the rain. It's pouring rain, and I'm standing there as the coach. I'm like, this is just wonderful. I'm just getting soaked right now. But it definitely was. The elites definitely had it. They got to figure something out because if they're going to keep doing it this way, like they obviously had a backup plan, but I feel like they're going to need to utilize like how they have the Tina Hills where they have the overview or over thing. Why they don't have something like that? They need to have all of the workouts with that option, So because that's the problem is there's just no way to protect, from the weather. So they did stop doing any of the workouts. Well, I guess not really. The only ones they really do out in front of Bayfront this year was the swim workout, whereas they used to kind of use that as like the main stage because it looks really cool. But I think that they transitioned away from that and put everything in that main venue area. It's still a work in progress, but it is what it is. So it was good.
I didn't mind the rain on Bayfront because everybody's wet generally anyway. So like it didn't really change anything for me. But man, Sunday was almost unwatchable for the teams at Flagler.
Yeah.
Like it was chaotic. It was slippery. It doesn't highlight the athlete. And I know the event organizers, there's really nothing you can do because the reason people come to Miami in January is for the sun and to be outside. So you don't want it to make it an indoor event or you lose the allure and the draw. So as much as I want to critique everything, I don't have a solution. So, it's unfair of me to critique because I don't envy their position at all.
Yeah. And
we lost 2 off-season events due to weather this year. Rogue was terrible and Wadapalooza was terrible with the weather.
Agreed. I think that the only solution is they got to somehow figure out a way to utilize, like I said, the Tina Hills area with the stage. It might be something along those lines of, because it just doesn't make any sense. It's just going to be every year we're going to have a problem. Every year there's a weather problem at Waterpolo. This has probably been one of the worst ones though in a while. So last year was cold. This year it wasn't cold. So
Yeah, last year, no rain, just cold.
yeah. Corey, to answer your question, yes, I would call it moist here today. That wonderful word. Yes, it is very much that. In fact, when I went to the gym earlier, I went to grab the rings and I'm like, why do these feel wet? Like it feels like somebody was wet on it. It was literally humidity. It was bizarre. That's what I'm saying. We're having weird weather. All right, so let's recap. So you did awesome. It looks like nutrition has been dialed in. You updated your weight for me. So you logged last week despite being under the weather, and you definitely are under eating a little bit, but I feel like that's likely just because your appetite. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, some days when I eat, I get queasy. Some days I don't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look, thank goodness I logged. I'm trying to see similar things I'm eating on the days that I'm queasy. Like,
Yeah.
is there something I'm eating that's forcing that to happen? Or is it just whatever I'm trying to push out of my body right now?
Yeah. Um, like yesterday you had the soup. How'd that sit with you?
Soup. It was a
Sounds
creamy
better?
soup, so it actually did not go well.
Yeah, I was gonna say the dairy stuff is probably what's messing with you a little bit. Did you do anything over the weekend? Any date night or anything?
Not really. Nope.
Looks like maybe you ate out on Saturday. Maybe not. Steak sub, maybe.
No, that we made that in.
Nice. It looks good. Man, this looks like a good sub. He's got sub roll, Gouda cheese, steak, arugula, Granny Smith apples. Ooh, that sounds really good.
It
Was that
was
all
a
on the?
Hello Fresh meal.
Oh man, that sounds really good.
It was it was the best sandwich I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, oh, that sounds really
And
good.
we made it at home.
And then dinner time, you had tortellini, is that what that was?
Yeah.
Man, you're eating some good stuff lately. Okay, so a couple of things here, just kinda going over nutritionally. I know that you're not feeling the best, and I think that the next step is gonna be getting, like, obviously, overall health and stuff like that as well. Um, I think that your fiber count is something that we're gonna need to start working on. And I do think that I know like last week you were sick. So I don't want to use last week as a telltale in terms of what we need to be changing. But a lot of your carb products last week were more like white flour products and things like that, assuming obviously that you just aren't feeling that well. So I think that going into this week, something else is like looking at, hey, all right, let's start to get back to eating like some high fiber carbs, the lavash breads, the sweet potatoes, things like that to kind of help increase your fiber intake, which is going to help with your gut, which is going to help with your immune system. So there's all a reason to these things, right? Um, Weight loss journey, Scott is sitting at after a week of being sick, you're at 288. So that's good. We're down. It's a new low for you. How you feeling about that?
I can definitely see the difference in the mirror. I feel so much less puffy
Yeah,
than I did over the holidays.
good.
Just not traveling, not, just getting everything regulated. I feel way better that way.
The other thing that we were looking for this week was photos, and I don't see photos.
I did not get to those. No.
Okay. So when are we going to get those?
I will make a concerted effort to do that this week.
I don't think a concerted effort. It's I'm going to do that. So what time do you wake up in the morning?
7:45.
And then you start work at 8.
Yep.
Okay. So I think that we need to do it on Saturday morning
Okay.
because that's when you're going to be off and not have to get up and go right to work. That's got to happen this weekend.
Okay.
You're dodging it. I know you are. Everybody dodges photos. But you are 289 and your last photos that I have for you,
288.
sorry,
That's
288. Sorry, 288. Well, I can talk about actually you are 289. I'll talk about that in a second. But 288.4. And your last photos I have, really solid photos, were from January of August of 2021. I have decent photos of you from March of 2023, but the good ones are from January of 2021. So I know you are going to look dramatically different. And that is why I want to see them. So, and going forward, it's going to help us. 289, 288 is, where were you March of last year? Let's go ahead and take a look. March of last year, you were 314. So you've come quite a way. So I think that we should get those new photos for sure.
Okay.
All right. Trying to think about other things that we talked about last week while I was away, because I know that it was like super chaotic where I was at. That was hard. And it's funny because there was an athlete that was right next to me and I can't remember his name. And I was almost like, oh, I should have like turned to him because I forget his name. I'll remember when I look him up again. Younger guy, but in the elite division. I think he's a games athlete too, and I can't remember his name. But when I was back there podcasting with you, he was like right there to the left of me. But so you're on the mend from sickness. I think that I would like to get you back up to eating at least your protein number this week. I'm okay with your other numbers being a little bit lower. And I know that your foods kind of are probably still having a little bit of food aversions, I should say. Are you just having a hard time getting in getting in the protein because of your appetite and your foods, like the foods that are sitting well with you?
So while I'm eating it, it's fine. It's like 20 minutes after.
Yeah.
And then I'm not hungry for the next meal.
Got it. Okay. Breakfast. Let me see what you're doing for breakfast. Let me see if I can help anything. Because breakfast is normally where you can like front load protein.
I've been trying to add a lot of protein to breakfast.
Yeah, your breakfast is good. 53 grams of protein. Your breakfast and your lunch both look pretty good. Again, I do want to work on fiber a little bit, but still balanced. And we're not going to force that this week with you not really feeling that well. But it's really probably snack or before bed that you could really get something else in, because your breakfast and your lunch today look really good. And I'm assuming today, though, honestly, Scott, today's probably going to be better because you didn't like yesterday. All you have is soup for lunch. So I think that today you're going to be back on track with your protein because you're already at 100 grams of protein before dinner time. So
yeah, I really pushed it today to get some protein in.
how have you been working out still, or not really because you're not feeling the best?
Yeah, I even I cranked up the propane heater in my garage, but still had to wear a full coat and gloves to be able to lift a barbell because it was that cold.
What's the weather there right now? What's the temperature?
So over the weekend, I think it was like 16 with a wind chill of 3.
That's crazy. Annie Giddens, you know her, Annie. She was down in Wadapalooza, and she's now a client she was working with my other coach, but now she's my coach or my client. She texted me that it's -7 where she was going back to. Oh,
Yeah, I think she's Minnesota, right?
no, thank you. No, thank you. Would not like that at all. So
Yeah, we're supposed to have this all week.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's awful. Like just going out with my dog is like my dog doesn't even want to be out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't do well in the winter. I remember when I lived up in New England, I used to hate when I coached in the morning at the 5 a.m., which was every day, and it was like snowing. And I thank God my car had an automatic starter because I would just start it while I was in the house because it is brutal. But yeah.
Yeah, my dog looks up at me and goes, "You sure I can't just poop on the floor?"
Yeah. I'm sure there's probably times where you're like, you should just poop on the floor, I'll clean it up. I'm just kidding. But yeah. So okay, so this week obviously you're kind of on the mend. I think that photos are what we need to do, and then focus on getting in more protein. And then, yeah, I think the next step is honestly just getting you eating a little bit more complex carbohydrates. But like I said, I'm not judging this week because you've been sick, like you haven't been feeling your best. So honestly, like you're just trying to probably eat whatever feels good and tastes good to you. So, but that will be the next thing is getting that fiber number up, which was something that we were going to work on last summer when you first started going to see Wild Health, but it was like too much at once. You're like, too much at once. Let's just focus on one thing at a time. But I think it's time to address that as well.
Okay.
So, what do you got going on this week?
So my daughter just moved into a house in Pittsburgh. So we may go visit her if the weather allows. If not, it'll be the weekend after.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Congrats. Anything going on with your podcast? No? Okay, just kind of easy there.
No, just basic week. I do have some calls out for some special guests
Okay.
over the next couple weeks, but we'll see.
Okay.
See
And
how that goes.
how are your stress levels with work and podcast and everything? It seems like you're in a very good place right now with all that.
My job has a new project for me, so that isn't ideal, but at least I'm getting paid every 2 weeks. And but everything else is good. Just chilling.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know why I'm a little worried about you. No? You're in a good spot?
Yeah,
Okay.
just yeah.
Good. Okay.
I just want to
So,
feel better,
yeah.
but
It's probably what it is. You're probably just under the weather. So, I love Corey. I'm not a special guest, Scott. So I'm just special. That's hilarious. So this week I think our focus is, guys, this is the part of the journey that like people don't realize. It's the boring work. It's you're sick, not a whole bunch going on, nothing really exciting. I feel like this week is all about you getting back from being sick. I will say this, super proud of you for logging the entire time. Because in the past, whenever you're sick, you don't. You don't.
I know.
That's been an excuse for you not to log in the past. So that just shows that you're like in a driven place and you're ready to obviously finish this off strong. In fact, you know what's funny is I had a call yesterday with a listener who reached out to me for coaching. She listened to your podcast, she listened to our podcast, and then she found my podcast through our podcast. And she said, what really made me want to get on the call with you was when you were talking to Scott about this being the last year that he ever has to lose weight and like ever has to worry about his weight and like finishing it off. And she's like, that really resonated with me because I've struggled with my weight for so long. And I just don't even know what that would feel like to not have to be worried about losing weight. And I'm excited for you for that this season for sure. So
Yeah, that caught me off guard as well. Because the last 30 years of my life, it's been a constant fight.
and we're gonna put a nail in the coffin this year. It's done. So I'm excited for that for sure. I think if anything I could do to help you this week, I'm thinking maybe if you need more help with changing out some carbs is really the only thing I'm going to suggest. But I think you know a couple of swaps to make. And I think once you get back to your routine food, it typically ends up working itself out. But I'm here if you do need anything like that this week. So.
Yeah. Yep. I was afraid. So just one thing, like Dave's Killer Bread is awesome and I love it. I thought that was irritating my stomach because of all of the nuts and seeds in it. And so I was trying to back off that to see if that would help. That apparently is not it.
Yeah. There's another bread that I use that I really like because you can have more of it. Like one slice of this bread has only 8 or 9 carbs. So like it's way less carbs and it's Sarah Lee makes it. It's called Delightfuls, I think. And it's like a 45 calorie per slice bread. And that's what I use in the morning for my French toast. There's that one, and Nature's Own makes one. They call it quote unquote keto, but it's just a lower carb bread. And they both taste really good. So either of those, and they're both high fiber. So yeah. But yeah. So
okay.
Uneventful show, but I'm hoping that next week we have some photos, which is going to be more eventful.
Okay.
So, alrighty. And I'm going to remind you on Saturday.
Okay.
And you know I'm up early. So
Way
you'll get
earlier
my
than
text
me.
message before you're up.
Yeah. All right. Well, sounds good. Well, to everybody in the comments, thanks for being here as always. You guys are awesome. And we will see everybody next week on, hopefully my meeting doesn't run over. These people in this meeting, they do not understand the concept of time.
Yeah,
You
agreed.
set a meeting from 3 to 4, it should end before 4. This one never ends before 4. It's
Yeah.
awful. So with that, I just had to get that off my chest.
I feel you.
With that, we will catch everybody next time on the Clydesdale Media Weight Loss Journey. Bye, guys.